Good afternoon. I suppose it's afternoon. Yeah, we're just after the midday. So we're good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'd like to introduce you to Peter O'Toole, musician, composer, and short film maker. And Peter was a member of the Hothouse Flowers, which were one of Ireland's greatest bands. I think somebody said that, was it Bono said, the greatest unsigned band in Europe. The really fantastic journey that you brought so many of us on and continue to. I last saw you in Rest Park in Sislo. You were doing that series of concerts with Van Morrison and who else was on the list?
I think the Waterboys were
the
there.
Waterboys, that's right. Yes, yeah. And thank you very much. It was a great night's entertainment. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll get back to concerts soon.
That's it.
How are you, Peter? How's your lockdown going?
Lockdown's going grand, you know. It's a year ago now, you know, and just kind of got stuck into doing things around the area. I live in a beautiful spot of Tipperary where it's quite rural, so there's plenty of beautiful walks, and the weather was amazing, you know, at the beginning of the lockdown, and we were able to sit in the garden and just, you know, really enjoy that. But it's kind of a challenge now. It's kind of going on, and always I'm forever looking for new things to do and just challenging myself. We had a whole load of gigs, like we had a year of gigs lined up with the band, and that all got cut short, you know. So, you know, we just kind of improvised and got busy.
Yeah, you released a new album, White Cedar.
Yeah, leaving White Cedar. What I said to myself, I saw the Arts Council had a grant, you know, so I said I might as well try for this. And my idea was to challenge myself to write 10 tunes on 10 different instruments, and by one man, you know, one person, and you know, and so I have a room full of instruments here. So I just got walking, and each day I would just write down something that caught my eye, you know, and that became the title of the tune. And when I got home, then I would just sort of write a tune on a different instrument each time. So then that turned into a short film, which was part of the Arts Council grant. So that was called 10 tunes, 10 instruments, one musician. And then I obviously had the 10 tunes, so I had loads of songs. So I added 4 songs, and it turned into the album. So that album was recorded on one microphone in a bedroom here in the house, and I just did it really for myself, for my own sanity. But it ended up selling all the copies I had. I got it manufactured over in Holland by a friend of mine, and so it sold out. And I managed to do some shows online on Facebook and with Culture Ireland. So it really kept me going, and it was, as I said, for my mental health, it was amazing. And the challenge of having to write on all the different instruments was amazing. So I kind of started with harmonica, which was what I learned with my grandfather and my uncles. And I kind of just moved through my life, tin whistle, you know, guitar, and ended up with a Chinese instrument called the zong ruan, which a friend had lent me and I'd never played. And I ended up writing a beautiful tune called The Butterfly Leaf on that. So it was great challenge. And as I said, great for the head.
I'd recommend that film to anyone. It's on YouTube, and you can go in through. I went through Imro's website, and it really is a fantastic piece, and the stories behind it. A lovely story about learning the harmonica, as you said, with your father and your grandfather at home.
Yeah.
And it's great that, I suppose, a lot of creative people, I suppose you can go one way or the other way in lockdown, and it can be hard, but it can be a great escape and a great channel and somewhere to put that energy.
Yeah, like there's a lot to do, you know. If you're a creative, there's a lot to do, be it like the lads in the men's sheds, you know, there's always stuff to fix or always stuff to move or repair, you know, and music is like that, you know, there's always something to do. And as I said, I just challenged myself, and there was everything moved online. So there was a great load of, you know, concert series happening online. There was great camaraderie happening, you know, different bands supporting each other. and it got very close, and it's kind of changed how things are going to happen, particularly for solo artists. The whole idea of Bandcamp, selling your music on Bandcamp, has just transformed a lot of people's earnings, and they run a series, Bandcamp Friday, every month, where they waiver all the fees that they would normally charge. So everything that is sold goes straight to the artists on a Bandcamp Friday. It means a lot, and each month then there's a regeneration of publicity for each person. But yeah, there's been a lot to do, and as I said, a lot of walking has been done.
Yeah. I think everybody has gone through one pair of shoes or boots already.
Yeah, but we're blessed, living in this part of the country, that there's so much to do. Actually, some of the, a lot of the tunes I wrote were inspired by animals in the place. There's cows and crows. There's Tipperary cockerel. There's two horses. These are all tunes that happened, and they're actually. There are two horses, and there are cows and crows, and there are, they're all just out there.
That's brilliant. And I suppose you're an adopted son of Tipperary, and a beautiful place and part of the world that you've adopted, and that led you to the interest in the men's sheds in Tipperary.
Yeah, well, there's actually, I seen something on the Healthy Ireland initiative website, and they were just calling out for people. It was called Switching Off. And it was encouraging people to maybe switch off the news, get out and stop worrying, basically, to eat well, to stay healthy, and just to step back from the whole COVID thing, and to try and just keep themselves keep themselves away from it, without worrying themselves too much. And that kind of got me thinking. I was saying, Jesus, what about the people, like the men's sheds, for instance, who can no longer go to their sheds? And these were places where they would have their cup of tea and chat. And so I kind of got in touch with them, the Healthy Ireland Initiative and Tipperary County Council, and just sent them in an idea that I had, called When the Shed Light Is On, which kind of symbolizes that the place is open, and, that there's activity going on there.
Yeah.
And it took me on this journey for the last 2 months, and it's been amazing, really incredible. I was aware of the men's sheds for a long time, and as a kid myself, I was interested in woodwork. I was a self-taught carpenter.
Very
and
good.
I took over my bedroom. My brother and myself shared a bedroom,
right.
And I had bought a bouzouki in 1980, and I had no case. So I said, I'll make a case.
Good on you, wow.
So I took over the bedroom and turned it into a workshop. Yeah. And there was wood chips everywhere. The bedroom was destroyed.
Fire hazard.
Yeah, it was destroyed. But anyway, I got to make the case. It's still intact in the storage somewhere in Wicklow. But so I always had my eye was always on the men's sheds, and I always thought it was a fantastic thing.
Yeah. And it is one of the things we say, with the most important tool in any shed is the kettle, because that's what it's about. It's about that, lucky are the men that are in the sheds and sharing and talking and having the crack and making music and making wood and making all sorts. So it really is a special place that a lot of our members have been missing, and that's been a challenge for everybody.
So I kind of thought, well, maybe how about trying to do like an online celebration, like a gathering online. And as it suddenly dawned on me that a lot of the members would be wouldn't be too up on technology on Zoom or even on WhatsApp or YouTube. So I figured it was the only way I could do it was try to make a film and then show it on YouTube and encourage members, families or neighbors to try and hook them up for that particular night. And I chose YouTube because you can actually comment on the night. It's like a YouTube premiere, so it's going out live on YouTube. So the idea is to hopefully get members typing to each other or typing to me, and I'll be able to type back, and to have this kind of conversation with the movie running in the background or in the front. So that was kind of, but it's a challenge, as you see yourself. Even like I have to say, fair play to all the leaders, all the coordinators have been incredible. Just trying to keep everyone connected by phone or by Zoom meetings, or just trying whatever they can. some of the areas are very remote and they may not have Wi-Fi or anything. So it's a big challenge.
Yeah.
You know, hats off to them all.
And how does how did it all start? You were interested in men's sheds, you were familiar with men's sheds, and Tipperary network put you in touch with the sheds?
I just started basically, I went onto your website and I started finding out where all the men's sheds of Tipperary were. And, you know, thankfully there was contact numbers there. So I just literally sent a call out to all the coordinators and said, listen, I'm going to run a Zoom meeting. So as many of you come, or I will phone you and let you know what's happening. And the idea was to get them to, just to let the members know that it's happening. And I said, when I'm finished everything, I will have a link and I will send you that link, and then you send that to all the different members and try and get them asking neighbors or family, you know, how they can use that link and, you know, how they can set themselves up. The show is going to run on YouTube anyway, so you'll be able to watch it afterwards. But the idea is to try and get as many on the night. And that was it, just one by one. I started just contacting, and I made some phone calls and recorded the conversations. I traveled around the county. I had a letter of travel from the county council. So I was able to travel around and do some filming in each town, you know.
Yeah.
Then some of the men's sheds were able to let me in. I was able to meet some of the members. I went to Cahir. They were amazing because they were actually set up to sing some songs, and that was great. I was able to film from a distance.
Yeah.
Tipperary town has a beautiful garden, like a really amazing garden. So I was able to meet some lads up there, and just did it that whatever way I could do it, I did it.
Yeah.
And then what I did was I just sent a word out to some musical friends and said, listen, I'm doing this, and if you want to send in just a hello, you know, I'm wishing all the men's shed members well. And most of them sent in little videos of songs. So therefore I have this collection of performances by all the friends. Like there's about 12 different videos were sent in. So I've kind of interwoven those performances. So it's kind of like a gig as well, with which each artist doing one song, and then conversation, some film around the county, and you know, just kind of very little of myself. I do a cooking demonstration.
Oh, right.
We might as well do something with the food, you know.
Yeah.
So I did a little tortilla de patata, which I learned when I lived in Spain. So
very nice.
I just did a kind of little something like that.
Yeah.
But I ended up, it's an hour long, and I wanted to just cap it at an hour because, you know, people's attention is quite short. And but I had trouble, you know, trying to fit everything in because I got such a great reaction from people, you know.
Yeah.
So it was fantastic.
So that's really sounds like a real homage to the sheds, and a very busy and interesting hour. And so Friday the 26th of March, 7 p.m.
Yeah.
I know we're looking forward to that. And you were talking to John Spillane, who's a friend.
Yeah, like I had I don't know if you know, there's a band called Greenshine. I had John Spillane. Mundy came on.
Mundy's great. Yeah.
A guy called Cormac Begley, who's a great concertina player, Maitiu, Casaide. And even our Lord Mayor in Dublin, Hazel Shue, came and did a beautiful wish, sent out a beautiful message to all the men's shed members. And then I had a friend who runs a brewery down in Mayo, so he gave a beautiful demonstration of the brewery. It's a Belgian beer brewery.
Oh, wow.
So he did a lovely Olsen Conlon, another great singer-songwriter.
Yes.
So as I said, Mary Coughlan came on board. So I got a great reaction. You know, I didn't expect it, but they all came back with beautiful messages and songs. So yeah, it's a very interesting. It's a beautiful little piece of work. And as I said, some of the main points were chatting to the lads, chatting to some of the men's members, the men's shed members. One very sad thing, you know, there's one man, you know, who obviously suffers a little bit of depression, but he goes down on his own to the shed at the moment, just to give him something to do. You know, he sits there and potters around and maybe tidies up and just keeps the shed fresh. You know, I think that's amazing. It's an amazing tribute to what the shed does to him, you know, how it's such part of his life, you know. So yeah, I've really enjoyed, as I said, some of the stories, some of the crack. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to meet many people face to face, but the ones that I did meet are just brilliant.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and it's so relevant to all our members across the island, north and south and east and west. Like, it really is. Everyone will resonate with that message. I think that's great, and how important the sheds have been, and how much we're really looking forward to just getting back to them and getting busy again. And
it's again, patience is a very strong thing to hold, you know. It's but some of these rural communities, you know, it's the shed is really the it's a lot of people, a lot of the lads aren't drinking or anything, so the shed is the place to go, you know. And it's the sooner the better, you know.
No, absolutely. And you fairly much covered the county. You were in, you mentioned Cahir, you were in Tipperary town.
I went to Clonmel, I went to Carrick-On-Suir, I went to Nina, I went to Mullinahone, I went to Cahir, Glengool, I went to Silvermines.
Wow.
Place called Bala. I think I went to them all, you know.
Bala, it's a great show.
I wasn't, you know, I kind of just did a little bit of shooting in each of the towns, and some of the places, you know, some of the men were obviously very nervous about meeting up, and I understood that, you know. So if I wasn't able to meet anyone, I would just I do a little filming in the town, or just mention them, you know, as part of it. But I try to get through to them all. And so the next week, I've got some stuff on the radio, and local radio, you know, and some local newspaper as well. So the plan is just to try and get the members onto YouTube, and if that means some family members or some neighbors helping them on that night, you know, just to let them see it and to let them feel part of it, you know.
Yeah, well, we're going to do our best here in the association to spread the word as widely as possible.
Yeah, brilliant.
And thanks very much for your time today, because I think it's given a great flavour of what the men can expect.
Yeah.
And we're going to push this video out ourselves across our social channels and on the website and everything.
Yeah.
And we're really looking forward to seeing you next Friday and seeing the movie next Friday.
Yeah, and I want to thank, as I said, all the coordinators who just made it all possible. You know, some of them were, you know, all of them were amazing. So I wouldn't have been able to do anything. You know, you'd be getting just filming of towns of Tipperary without their involvement. But you know, it's been a real learning curve for me, and you know, I think it'll help. Sort of, you know, there's people from all over the world will be watching it, so that's great.
Yeah, I mean,
men's sheds are everywhere, so
they are.
And
it's funny the way the movement has caught on in Ireland, because we now have the most amount of men per capita going in and out of sheds in the world. Like, we really, from an idea that had a standing start in 2009 in Tipperary, actually. Some claim, although there's fellas up in the northeast claim they had the first sheds, there'll always be that. But it really has taken off, and such is the need, and such was the place that it fills in everybody's, in the lives, in the communities, because I think that's what we always say about sheds. They're important to the men, their families, but they really are important to the communities to keep places going and keep.
Well, what I love about the men's shed is that it doesn't mention that it's a men's group, you know, and I think a lot of men would be put off, you know, by men's groups. They might say, no, but because it's a men's shed, it kind of involves pottering around, which men love, you know, and women love doing that as well. But and the shed kind of is more welcoming, you know. And so therefore it's opened up a place where people can chat, you know, and that's, to me, the most important part of it is the company, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that reduction of isolation, which we've had enforced on us, but hopefully it'll end soon. Professor Luke O'Neill has talked to us a few times. He's very optimistic. Everybody gets vaccinated and we just get back to whatever normal will be. And I think it'll be better, you know. I think it'll be better from what we've all learned about ourselves and about what's important to ourselves, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it's been a major shake-up, you know, and people, you know, there's been a lot learned, and I think there'll be a lot of people just, you know, really looking forward to getting back and you know, being respectful to each other and just hanging out together and giving people, you know, space.
yeah, no, absolutely. Peter, I really can't thank you enough for your time today. I really appreciate it, for your focus on the men's sheds and giving us something that we can champion and celebrate. I really appreciate it, and I hopefully look forward to talking to you again in better times.
Well, thank you. It's been an honor for me, you know, and thanks for opening your door for me to chat to you.
It's all absolutely our pleasure. And listen, enjoy the weekend, whatever that may bring. More walking.
Yeah, more walking, more singing. Yeah,
more singing,
more singing.
cooking. Yeah,
yeah, more cooking.
Well, thank you very much for all your art and all your entertainment.
Yeah,
it's been great. Take care of yourself and talk soon.
Okay.
Slán.